It says I'm live. Hello. What's going on? It's late and I'm just like hanging around. By the way, I'm gonna do a reading tomorrow. Might be early in the morning. Got to finish the last 5 chapters, I think. Hey, I might do a whole reading marathon tomorrow, starting early. We'll see. But I was just hanging around thinking because I'm a little confused. I'm a lot confused. Like, now that we're in the trial, when this whole story broke with Diddy, like, there was so much talk going around. Children, you had people, females coming out. There was one on that, what's that video channel? Soft White Underbelly. And she said she was at one of Diddy's parties and there were little people there. And what else was being said? Oh, all these celebrities, participation in the freak offs. So much stuff was being said, and then when they raided his place, oh, they got videos. We're waiting for them to name of all the celebrities that participated in the freak offs and the children. And so now that we are in the trial, first of all, none of the charges have anything to do with children. Um, Nothing has come out in the trial about celebrities participating in these freak offs. So we have those who have been following this closely from the minute Cassie's lawsuit was dropped. We have been inundated with all types of stuff. And for me, I was believing a lot of this stuff, you know? And, well, I don't know if I believed it. I just know I didn't doubt it. I really thought all this stuff, hey, Sergio, I really thought all this stuff was eventually going to come out in the trial. But now that we are here, none of that stuff that we were inundated with all across the internet has showed up in this trial. It hasn't even showed up in any of the charges. I would think if they had video of children participating in these things, certainly that would have been one of the charges, right? So it's just weird stuff. I'd like to know, do you think the prosecution is proving their case thus far? I think they've proved the RICO charges. Um, as far as the coercion of Cassie and kidnapping, well, kidnapping, yes, because we saw that in the video. Once he prevented her from leaving in that fight, well, it wasn't a fight, when he beat her down and then dragged her, that's kidnapping. Actually, you preventing somebody from leaving and you're violently dragging them back to the whole, yeah. But as far as all this other stuff concerning the RICO charges, I don't think they've proved that just yet. I know one thing that they have proved, that for me, from where I'm standing, seems like they proved Cassie to be a co-conspirator more than a victim, if you ask me. That's what it looks like to me, you know. But hey, so I was just wondering, where did all this stuff go as far as, what we were supposed to see and all the evidence that the investigators pulled out of his mansions? None of that apparently exposed children and all the stuff we've been hearing. So definitely got to filter every bit of information that comes across your phone or your computer or your television when it comes to the internet, because this is just ridiculous. And I'm wondering, well, I don't have to wonder. I doubt. First of all, the feds have what, a 99.6 conviction rating? And if they went through all this for Diddy, he ain't getting off. And bigger than all of that, if you can't see it or even feel it by now, I really think Diddy pissed off somebody. I don't know if it's because he went against the liquor company or he did something to somebody and they just out to get him. It is what it is. But he's done stuff to a lot of people down through the years, and it's whatever. And if he does get off, look, I don't know. Well, will he be able to live happily ever after? He has like 60 something lawsuits against him. Hey, Skylar, he may not pay off all of them, but damn, it's costing him a lot of money for lawyers to deal with those 60 something lawsuits alone. Let's not talk about the team of lawyers he has working this trial. Is his money that long? It's possible. I think. Huh. So you think about the amount of money he's paying lawyers to deal with 60 something lawsuits, right? Civil suits. Plus this team of lawyers he has to pay for this trial. Plus the living expenses I'm sure he's paying for his children and his mother, especially the little baby and the baby mama. Uh, when it's all said and done, if he gets off and it's all said and done, these civil lawsuits, that's 60 something, that's probably going to cost more when it's all said and done than the amount he's going to have to pay these team of lawyers, for this trial. I think if he gets off, he's going to end up broke. And if he gets convicted, he's going to end up broke because the feds are going to seize everything, all his properties, everything. So I think he's in a win-win, a lose-lose situation. But again, if you really think about it, would you rather be broke and sitting in prison for the rest of your life or broke with your freedom? Those are his two options. I guess I'd rather be broke with my freedom, right? If I got my freedom, I have an opportunity to make money again. Will he be able to make money like he has over the past 30 years at his age and his reputation now? No. He might have to get a regular old job. But who's going to hire Diddy at 50 something years old? Just fresh off of beating a trial and all the stuff that has come out. And then, there's too many Biggie and Tupac fans, white, black, young and old, who think he had something to do with him. I mean, you would think that he would have, like, thought about shit and did shit a little. I just, look, I just been trying to cram to understand, you know, when you're at that caliber, you got to be very, very careful. And he was just completely reckless. I guess he couldn't see it because he had Kim baby mama here. He had this other baby mama that just had a baby. He had Gina. He had Cassie. And God knows how many other chicks he had. And I guess he was like a bug snug in a rug, freaking off with Cassie. And I guess nobody ever thought, especially him, that he would find himself in a situation in court in a trial fighting for his life because he was freaking off with Cassie. You know what? He should have taken Tom Joyner's advice that he gave about 25 years ago. Puffy, stay home. Chill. Settle down. I remember Tom Joyner took some time out of his radio show to speak over the airwaves to Puffy directly. And this was, after that shooting took place with Shine and everything. Because Puffy was hanging out every night of the week. And I'm not exaggerating, y'all. I'm really not. He was always in the newspaper at some club on a Tuesday night. Who goes to a club on a Tuesday night? But every night of the week, it was him and Jennifer Lopez. And a lot of times just him and his entourage, always finding a party to go to. And Tom Joyner was like, Puffy, stay home sometime. Stay home. Settle down. He just couldn't do it. He had to be a bad playboy. Just think what life would have been like had he just settled down with Kim, whom he says was a soulmate. Bullshit. Because when you found your soulmate, you with your soulmate. You ain't freaking off with other bitches. That's it. That's like oil and water. It just doesn't mix. But I sit here and think, what would it have been like if he would have just not been a bad playboy and just settled down with Kim, married her, whatever, had your home life and did a lot of fun things with Kim and their children. he wouldn't be in this situation today. Hey, even if he didn't participate in freak offs and kept his hands and his feet to himself, I don't think he'd be in this situation today. It's just ridiculous. Why do you, how come you don't realize that you are a multimillionaire slash billionaire and you just think you can beat the shit out of women? Well, he did bash a man across his head with a champagne bottle. He did go to, what's that little Justin? Went up to his college and hit the coach with a dumbbell or something. So he does beat up on men too, but I don't know. His ego is just out of control. No, if I was a millionaire and people knew I was a millionaire, if people knew I was a multimillionaire, I'd be very careful with the way I move because people are always standing around for an opportunity to get your money. And I'm broke compared to Puffy, and I know this. Why he didn't know it? None of this just makes sense to me. It's like, what the hell? These people be thinking. What are they thinking? Oh, I get it. They're not thinking at all. Not thinking. But, wait a minute. I just talked a few minutes ago about him ending up broke. And then I just realized, from what I heard, everything is in his mama's name. So, I guess he won't be broke. Well, no. Because if everything is in his mama's name and he needs more millions, she got to turn it over to him. Hmm. Yeah. She got to turn it over to him. It's in her name, but she got to turn it over to him. He's fighting for his life. So we shall see. We shall see. But I don't think he's getting out of this. We're only going into what, the 1 week? I think we're going into the third week of the trial this week. Yeah, the third week. Probably got about 3 or 4 or 5 more weeks left. And we shall see. But it's time for him to pay the piper. He's done too much dirty shit to too many people over the years. You got to get paid back some kind of way. And I mean, he beat the trial dealing with Shine, got away with that. I don't think he's getting away with this one. At least, I don't think he should. I don't think he should. But daggone, how embarrassing. Ugh. They just brought out the the during the freak offs, he comes out like wearing a, what do you, a habib? Is that what you call that thing? You know, like the Muslim women wear covering their face. And he butt naked walking into the room with a bottle of Astroglide. And he sits in the corner directing the session. More oil, put on more oil. Yeah, now turn over. Move over to the right a little bit. And no, over to the left, 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 left. more oil. And he just sitting there directing, and nobody wants their private moments to go public, right? Mm, mm, mm. How just weird. If Puffy remained to just be you know, a Negro from the streets, if he never became Puffy, would he have been participating in freak offs? Well, he ain't got to have money to participate in freak offs. But if people found out, nobody would care, right? But because he's Puffy, it's like, ew, ew. Then I think about what I heard Cassie talk about. She had sores in her mouth and UTIs. Again, boundaries. Not even with sores in her mouth did she say, you know what, enough is enough. Again, it was only the moment that she realized she wasn't going to be Puffy's wife. She wasn't going to be his baby mama. She wasn't going to complete those 9, 10 albums after 10 years. And that's when she said, you know what, fuck this shit, I'm out. The sores in her mouth didn't make her say, fuck this shit, I'm out. The UTIs, the pissing down the throat, none of that made her say, fuck this shit, I'm out. Told you they both jive turkeys and just straight weirdos. All of them. Cassie's husband, too. Weirdo. How does he even kiss that mouth? How does he even let that mouth kiss his daughters? Look, these people just too weird for me. But I'm going to stay tuned and see what happens in the end. Uh, I think Puffy going to be sitting right up there next to R. Kelly. And I think they should let them be cellmates. The two of them can make beautiful music together in prison. And listen to Mary J. Blige's song Reminisce. And they can both sit there and reminisce how they used to piss on a bitch. All right, it's time for me to go. Check y'all out later. Peace.